Hi, everyone. Welcome to Senior Moments. I'm Pat Mueller. I'm here today with my sister, Joan Leshley, who's a real estate agent with RE/MAX in the Susan Vogel Team. And she has lots to tell us, but let's find out about her first. Well, hi, Joan. Welcome to Senior Moments.
Well, thanks for having me today. It was a pleasure to be asked to participate in this programming to help educate folks about what it is we do.
Yay, that's cool. Now, I know lots about Joan. I've known her like a while. I won't tell the years, because
Okay,
that's probably
thanks.
But can you tell everyone else? Tell us about yourself.
Sure. My name's Joan Leshley. I have lived in Lake Orion for many years. But first and foremost, I am a wife. A very happy wife, along with a mother of 3 children. I have 7 amazing grandchildren that all live within our community. So my family means basically everything to me. And I'm very grateful that we have each other to be in each other's lives. Professionally, I've spent the majority of my career in a nonprofit setting with community development. After I retired, I started to say I'm not a person to sit, so I need to find something that interests my passions. So for the last 7 years, I focused on the real estate operations, being an operation manager, transaction coordinator, and a real estate agent. I've also worked as a caregiver for seniors in our community, as well as for my aging parents. I've also supported our local nonprofits. Christmas in Action is an awesome nonprofit here in North Oakland County, which has 1 day a year. We go and we pick certain seniors' homes who applied for the program, and we do minor rehab and upgrades so they can stay in place. They just might be a little bit less fortunate than us, and they need some extra hands to help them through that time. As well as working with Love Inc. and just the programs that really are set to help the folks in our community, which really allows for me to offer my passion of helping folks through different transitions of their lives.
Yeah, and I would imagine that in real estate and seniors, so real estate and seniors and community, everything's in transition all the time. In fact, we were talking about that. We're all, my friends, my family, my siblings, everybody, we're starting to think about this kind of stuff. But we were talking about that. That's what made me think that this would be a great show. Other people might really appreciate knowing, what does a realtor do? Because I didn't know. I mean, and then I know a realtor really well. So I'm like, well, let's ask an agent.
Well, you know, everyone kind of comes to the thought of, well, a realtor buys and sells homes. But in all honesty, I really put us more to a conductor of an orchestra. There are so many different hats that a real estate agent has on any given day. It can be from working on the emotional side of someone buying or selling a home, helping them transition into making those decisions as to, is it time, is it not time? Helping people through negotiations, tough negotiations with your biggest asset in most families' lives,
right,
to be able to sell or buy a new home. To make that decision is it time to downsize into a home that my mobility fits better with than my big 2-story home where my laundry room's in the basement and
right,
my husband's trying to clean the gutters 2 stories up, and you know, I'm a nervous
and you're
wreck,
terrified. The whole thing. I totally get it.
I am like, okay. So when we say, what does a real estate agent do? We have many hats and we have many resources to help people through these times.
Well, and I think that you just the plain paperwork. I mean, I remember, now, we've lived in our house for kind of a while. Seriously, it's been like 35 years. So it's been a few days since I've been at a closing, but you're at them all the time. So I just can't even imagine you need like paperwork and stuff and I don't know. And then you give it to me and I sign it and I'm like, okay. So
Yeah.
you have to be an advocate for the person that you're selling or your buyer or whatever it is.
Absolutely. So one of the amazing things that I feel that I'm a part of is the Susan Vogel Team.
Right.
Any person who's working in real estate today, for me, has to mean that you have more than just yourself. You talked about transactions. We have our backbone, our operations manager, Sandy Blake, is that detailed person. She is managing the shop when we're out in the field. She's taking calls, making sure that all of our communication is being shared between each other. But before Sandy, we have Susan Vogel. Susan Vogel has over 30 years of experience in the real estate market. She is the number one, and I'm going to say it again, the number one.
She's very proud of this.
Top producer in southeastern Michigan for the RE/MAX First brokerage. So that means that she has an immense amount of knowledge, an immense amount of experience on multiple different transactions that have really helped us succeed and be the team that we are today.
Well, and I think that, how did she impact your decision to become a realtor after you retired?
Well, it was kind of easy for me because when you have someone of that caliber who is a part of your team, the leader of your team, I was actually extremely humbled and joyful that she would bring my talents to her team with my compassion and understanding and empathy and kindness toward people wherever they are at in that stage of life.
Sure.
You need that as well as being able to negotiate a really tough sale or to help someone walk through a hoarding situation that is difficult conversation to have, but to do it in a way that you feel successful, that the client who is our 100% goal is to have complete client satisfaction, that we are able to help them walk through those steps.
And I would imagine that being with a big team like that and a good team, that has to be helpful when people are trying to choose a realtor. Like, I wouldn't even know where to start to look for one. I mean, I would call you because I know you now. But I mean,
You've always known me, Pat.
Yeah, well, right. But I mean, now you're doing this work, so I would call. But I don't know. I mean, so I guess working with a big team would be helpful too in having clients who do wish to sell their home or to purchase a home for that matter, to contact your team, right?
Oh,
I mean, like, how do people choose a realtor? I don't even know how you would choose that.
Well, I truly believe in making sure that whoever your choice of a realtor is fits your needs. There's multiple different avenues when you talk about real estate. Of course, you would want to look at a residential agent over a commercial agent. You would want to work with the response. You need to interview them. When I called, how quickly did someone respond to that phone? Did they pick up or did they say, leave a message and I'll call you back?
Yes.
In our world, we pick up.
Press 2, press 4, press
Yeah,
what?
no.
I mean, that's so, and those are, I mean, I've had those experiences, so you're probably right. We do have some information about the Susan Vogel team.
With nearly 3 decades of real estate experience, they'd love to use their expertise to get your home sold and you into your new place. Visit today at thesusanvogelteam.com.
All right, well, welcome back, everyone. I'm here with Joan Leshley from RE/MAX, the Susan Vogel team. And we were talking about the emotional decision and how difficult it is to decide when it's time to sell. I've been in my home for 35 years, 25, 40 years, my friends and family. Now it's time for us to make that transition. So what do we do next? How do I make that decision?
Well, once again, I think that in the real estate market, it's about a balance of life. We open doors and we close doors, right? And, leaving a certain time period behind can rouse those sentimental, emotional, melancholy connections.
I think about the acorn that my son planted, and it's a tree now. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh my gosh, am I going to leave that tree? And it's like, well, I kind of want to do other things with my life, maybe.
Yeah, and so, we've always kind of looked at it as those memories are always going to be here. They're always going to be in your heart. We may not be able to do anything with them other than to remember where they are. So I hear this very common, it's a very common question, like, how am I going to, move from a place that has provided me so many memories in my life, joys, sorrows, all the family days, Christmases, Easters, holidays, birthdays, like, how do I make that decision?
Yeah, and how do I know when it's time? Is there some kind of is there like a checklist or something? If this is happening, if this is happening, if this is happening.
Oh, I would love a checklist on that, because then it would take us out of the world of indecision.
Oh.
And one day I think, oh my gosh, as I'm, shoveling that driveway, oh, I can't do this another year, or I'm carrying that next load of laundry down the steps and my knees are aching. These are more for our aged clients. We service
I'm among
all
them.
times, and because we also are the keepers and helpers of that first-time family who's looking to buy that house that they can grow into,
Right.
Not grow out of. So once again, it's that shifting.
So what are the signs that it's time?
Of what we do? So once again, I try to walk our clients down the path of, what are those signs that resonate with me? And basically, I look at it like this. So if your housing expense is 30% of your total income, you would want that to be your max.
Okay.
So that would include your property taxes, your insurance, and any anything that it costs you to live in your home. You don't
like
want
a mortgage or
more like landscaping care or cleaning or any of those types of things, just to keep your home in the condition that you would want. So when you're looking at that in figures and numbers, think of budgeting 30% of your total income towards your housing expense. And then you want to make sure that in your budget, you're leaving some room for fun.
Well, yeah, I want to go
and
places and do stuff.
I want to go camping for a month, but
Yeah.
how am I going to do that and pay for the campsite and, or go down and take care and travel, go take an airplane ride or drive across
Yeah.
the country. You want to make sure that cash that you have saved, doesn't eat into what those housing costs may be in your future.
Sure.
I would also definitely remember maintenance is going to continue to happen on your home. That roof you put on 20 years ago.
We were just talking about that.
Gonna need more.
And now we're not really young enough to go put it up ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, when we did it, 25 years ago, we were
Yeah.
fine. But
that AC, is it going to keep me cool enough? Do I have
Yeah.
a generator? Because now if I don't have power,
the sub pump won't work.
Yeah,
I don't
there's
have
so
water.
many different things that costs, as we all know, especially if we've lived in a home for many years, that hit us when really we're not ready. So I would factor that into a key factor. The other thing is, do the features of the home still match my mobility issues? Some folks may
I
be
have to
dealing.
use my walker now.
Yeah.
I had that spinal cord problem, and I have a walker. So now I can't take any steps. I can only take one or two.
Right.
Yeah, and that changes things a lot.
Yeah, and some people have breathing issues or
sure.
back issues, or there's all, the gamut is out there. I don't need to tell you what your scenario is. But in the long run, you really have to make sure, is this home fit my mobility? Can I move in it safely? The number one reason for people to be transferred out of their long-term home is due to a fall. Falling, and that takes you either into another serious illness. So we really try to recommend people who are having those mobility issues to really think about
where they live. Yeah.
And once again, this isn't about us trying to get a sale. It's more or less, it's does your home fit your current needs?
Well, and if you're thinking about it, you're probably in the back of your mind, you're saying things like this to yourself. I know my husband and I were talking about, like, should we get a lawn company, or should you keep mowing it, or what should we do? You know, those are some big questions.
And their expenses.
Yeah, exactly.
so-
And that cuts into that 30%. And then you see everybody else out there, and they're just mowing their lawns just fine. And you're like, oh.
Well, and I might be able to do that for the next 10 or 15 years. But the point is to just kind of have those, you know, when you're asking yourself those questions in your head, is it time? Is it not time? Do I need to close this door and open a new door? Am I thoughtfully thinking about what I'm actually spending on a monthly basis in my home, you know, and those types of things. And then another one is, am I the oldest one in this neighborhood?
Well, that's what we were saying. Everybody has like kids going to the bus stop and stuff, and I have like grandkids doing it.
Yeah, and I love seeing the young kids. I don't want to, you know, think that I'm going to age out of my neighborhood. But however, the thing about that is, where's my social interaction now with some of my neighbors? You know, before we were all growing up with our families together, and
now
you know,
everybody's moved away.
Yeah, now I'm going to visit them in different parts of the country, and so where do I find my place to be closest? That fits into my lifestyle and where I want to be today,
right,
with that. And then some people, you know, they want to convert their equity into income.
That's another thing, because we've talked about that. That's why we bought a house in the first place, because it like as an investment.
Yeah.
We actually have a second home as well, and so we're, you know, it's like, well, that's like retirement money, basically.
Yeah.
So now it's time, as we're retiring, to start thinking about how we're going to make that into liquid, into money.
Right. And I personally am going to say I'm not an advocate of reverse mortgages. I don't think that they're positive for you, a senior. It may be a way for you to stay in your home, but in all honesty, you'd do a lot better off in probably downsizing than trying to take money out on your home.
Right.
That helps pay your bills. I know it's, you know, we have Tom Selleck out there telling us to do it, but you know, in this case, my
well,
recommendation.
and that's why you talk to somebody and see what everybody has their own situation.
Yep, and that's why you go to a financial planner. I recommend, you know, seeking advice for.
Well, that was the other thing that we were talking about, in fact, was the career and leaving your career, and now you have more time to retire, so you need those dollars to do that.
Correct.
Well, that was pretty interesting. I am anxious to talk about in our next segment. We're going to talk about how to go about that sale. The moving itself has to be ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, that's a challenge at times, or not. It depends on who you use as your team, as your realtor. They have a lot of resources to be able to help you through every step.
Every year, distracted drivers are responsible for nearly 2.5 million car crashes. The National Safety Council reports cell phone use while driving leads to 1.6 million crashes. The NSC reports 1 out of every 4 car accidents in the United States is caused by texting and driving. Texting or reading text takes your eyes off the road for at least 5 seconds.
How you doing, ma'am?
So if you were traveling at 55 miles per hour, you're essentially driving the length of an entire football field blindfolded. Once a driver has been distracted, it takes only 3 seconds for a car crash to occur.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm here with Joan Leshley from the Susan Vogel Group at RE/MAX. I am so nervous about talking about this, but I know that it needs to happen because we've been talking about buying and selling homes and that kind of thing, but now it's actually the idea of moving, like actually listing my house. I wouldn't even know where to start with that. It's a little terrifying. So Joan, where do I start?
Well, I would definitely talk to a real estate agent like myself or anyone on our team that truly is going to listen to the needs of what you're looking for. We tailor our services to meet your needs, which can all be different. So how we do this is we come out to your home. We do what's called a pre-list appointment, and during
What's a pre-list? I
Yeah,
don't
so you
understand.
go, okay, what am I doing? So what we do is we work with you to put your plan together to reach your goals, what your goals may be in your next phase of life. You know, so we talk a little bit about what your future looks like for you and where you want to
Sure,
move and
that makes
what you're
sense.
looking for. And then what we do is we will come up with the value that we would place on your home. We do that through multiple different ways. We do it through comparative analysis. You'll get one of those for free. It's just something that you should know what the value of your home
So-
is before you list it.
Sure. So I have like this little house on a couple acres, Oxford schools. Does anybody even really want that?
Yeah,
Yeah?
a
A lot?
lot.
Really?
There's many families who are looking for, especially in this community, that have larger lots. They want to feel like they're not in the subdivision. And then we have other ones who are very, very much interested in the subdivision life because they have their children and they all play with each other and they
Sure,
can go
sure.
to a community park. So that's one of the main reasons why we do, you know, what are
That's
you
listening to the buyer.
Yeah.
So you have to listen to the buyer and to the seller.
Right.
The seller needs this and the buyer needs that.
Right, and so that's our knowledge, that's our experience, that's why we are a professional in selling and buying real estate.
Sure.
It's what we do every day, it's not something we do on the side or, you know, it's what we live every single day.
My friend Claudia was saying that she has like a colonial, but it's like getting outdated. So she had the same kind of idea. We were just talking about this yesterday when we had coffee. And she's like, you know, I know that it's outdated. There's like the paint's outdated, everything is. So do you ever help people know what,
Oh, absolutely.
like,
I mean,
what do you do?
well, when we're there, we look at what the true nuts and bolts and the features of the home are.
Okay,
Some people have upgraded, some people haven't. And you're going to find a buyer for either. Because
Sure.
colonial in our community is a very hot piece of commodity as well as the ranch. Because we have both sides again, the bigger
Yeah.
family and the smaller downsizing. So when
True.
we're there, we will also tell you what projects you feel are worthy of the return that you would get on that project.
Okay.
So some people may say, well,
Yeah.
I'm going to recarpet my whole house. Well, if you've had dogs that have been in there for years and years, or cats, and it really
has a
ha-
smell or
has
whatever.
some odors that may not be appealing when someone first walks in, that may be something we would say you might want to upgrade. It really, in all honesty, it's individual, case by case basis. I know everyone wants the big yes or no, you know,
Right.
but in all reality,
You don't know that.
You have to have someone who has that knowledge come in and let you know. And then, in all reality, just neutralizing a home, you know, making it less cluttered, you know.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine. You know, I can't even, I have a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you've lived someplace,
Sorry.
that's okay. We've lived someplace for 35 years. I mean, you collect stuff. I have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So then I have to figure out what to do with that, and I have to figure out.
So,
I want it to look nice. I want people to want it because I want to get like the dollars I'm asking.
Sure.
Right.
sure.
So that's kind of that balance. Is that what happens at a pre?
Yes, we will definitely walk through your home with you. We will give you recommendations as to, you know, what will neutralize the home. So when someone comes in, they feel like their vision can fit into this home. That
Sure.
it's not, they're
That
not
makes
fitting
sense.
into yours.
That's like HGTV. They do that.
Yeah, but I, you know, that's a lot, you know, I mean, but we have, I mean, our resource list is deeper than deep. I'm just telling you, we have people who are real estate appraisers that we can have come in and offer their services. We have contractors that are very trustworthy. I would use those contractors in my own
Sure.
home.
Well,
It's just not calling up the
it's
guy
kinda
next
nice
door
to
that
know
says,
somebody.
yeah, and so we have proven, proven
People.
over and over folks that can help us through these processes, and we're more than happy to share them with you because we want this, our goal is to make this a successful transaction for you. So we do everything in our power to help you do that.
Well, I imagine that's why you became the top.
Well, and we want to make sure your house is clean, so we have professional cleaners. You never want to forget about the windows. Windows need to be cleaned when you're going to list your house, no matter what it is. You want to make sure that
Good
people
advice.
can come in and out. That's just the simplest. Hopefully your grandkids or your kids could come over and help you with that one. But if not, professional window cleaners, we have a great list of them. And one of the things that people sometimes forget, but has really become more popular, especially with the HGTV stuff, is staging. Staging a home.
Oh, sure. That
adds
makes sense.
a lot of value to a home. We just had a house just 2 weeks ago that we had staged, and we got $44,000 over asking price.
What?
Yeah, it's
That's crazy.
Yeah, and
but
because
people that do
people
that.
walked in, they made the home look a very livable and comfortable place to be, and so we have stagers. You can do your own, but that is the resources are endless when you're working with a solid real estate team that's going to help you every step of the way.
Well, and they're part of the team as well, right?
Right.
That only makes sense.
And then the other things that we do is, with our team, we have, you have to market a home. You can't just think, it's going to go on Zillow and everyone's going to look at my home.
I have a friend who said that he doesn't need a realtor because he knows how to use Zillow. And I
sure.
thought, well, I feel like you do.
Well, we do photos, we do drones, we have social media
I
targets.
heard that, like for virtual tours?
Yeah, we do, coming soons, we do open houses. We do everything in our power to get your home in front of the most amount of people to bring in that top dollar. And so we're all guns loaded going forward to make sure that this is what you need out of your home. So during that pre-list appointment, this is a very important
I was going to say,
appointment
this sounds big.
to set your goals.
Yeah.
And to see if if the Susan Vogel team is the right team for you. So I just have a little bit of tidbit information for you.
Yes, please. I need tidbits.
Sorry.
I'm all about tidbits.
Okay, well, today, I looked it up. Today, there were 25 homes for sale in the Oxford School District. That is very low. Today, there were 37 homes that were pending, so we have more homes under contract than we do have for sale. And for the total year, we've had 79 homes that have sold. So,
Is that like since January?
Yeah.
What is this, April?
Yeah. So
wow.
Our sellers market is so hot right now, and if you're at all interested,
Well, we've been talking about it.
And you want to know what to do, just give us a call, and we would be happy to walk through all the steps with you, and we'd love to meet you.
Thanks so much for joining us today, Joan. You've been so much information that's helpful. I really do appreciate that.
Well,
hopefully you can come back and tell us more about all this.
Anytime, I'm more than happy to. I love our community and I love what I do, and I really appreciate you allowing me to share some of the information I have today.
Happy to.
Thank you.
You bet. I hope you can join us next time on Senior Moments.